Here we go. Good afternoon. My name is Sharon Clark, and I'm a LightNet collaborator. We are on a quest to interview 100 incredible people who've accomplished bending spoons with their mind. Do you know someone that is eligible to be interviewed? If you do, please reach out to team@lightnet.org and be a part of our mission to share the most valuable knowledge on the planet. If you're interested in finding out more about spoon bending or any of our other labs, please check them out at lightnet.org. I'm here today interviewing the internationally renowned empowerment expert Susan Shatzer about her spoon bending experience. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you so much, Sharon. We are going to have some fun today.
I'm looking forward to it. You're always a great time, and I think today will be no different than what we're normally used to. So, can I ask you a couple of quick questions with regards to spoon bending? This is also known as telekinesis, which is the ability to move objects by the means of thought alone. So, what attracted you to trying to bend spoons with your mind?
Well, that is a very good question. I had not realized that there was even a thing about bending spoons until I got involved with LightNet. And they had a spoon bending class. And it was one of the things where, I was brought up with Catholicism. And so all of this was magician, hocus pocus, sleight of hand, you move in one direction and like they move the cards in the other direction. So I wanted to see like, what would this be like? What would this create? So I brought a spoon with me today, and we'll see if we can get her to kind of shift and change while we're here today. Yeah, but she's pretty stiff.
We'll see what happens throughout the course of the interview. She may loosen up. She may become flexible.
Yeah. So it was interesting because the very first time I was there, I was able to bend a spoon and twist it and twirl it. And it's just been magical. It's something I knew in conceptual form, that every molecule has consciousness. But knowing it conceptually and then also actually putting it into real life experiences is like a whole different story. But yeah, so spoon bending.
Can you tell us how you? Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
Can you tell us how you managed to bend the spoon through telekinesis?
Yeah. So I kind of talked to the molecules of the spoon. So what we think about, we talk about, what we talk about, we bring about. So if I believe, which means I think, that I can't bend the spoon, then you're right. You're not going to be able to bend the spoon. If you think you can bend the spoon, then you want to kind of take a look at picking a spoon that's going to support you. So when you have like a whole tray of spoons, you'll want to ask each spoon, will you bend for me? If you get a no, you put that one down and you pick up another one. Will you bend for me? This is a fork that we bent. If you get a no, you pick another one. Will you bend for me? Until you find the utensil that will bend for you. And that's even interesting that molecules have points of view about things. And what came up was my son and I were eating lunch, and he was eating with a spoon, and he said to me, "Mom, this spoon is not happy." I'm like, "Excuse me?" He said, "This spoon is not happy." I'm like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean it's not happy?" He goes, "This is not a happy spoon. And every time I pick up food with it, it makes the food unhappy. And then I put it in my mouth and I'm eating unhappy food and it's making my body unhappy." And I was like, "Oh, well, then give me that spoon." I go get another one. He's like, "Okay." So he got up and he went over and he's like sifting through the drawer. And he's like, "There aren't any happy spoons, Mom." Like, "Okay, Nick." I said, "So what are you going to do?" He goes, "I'm going to pick a fork." So he picked a happy fork to finish eating his food because all the other spoons were unhappy. And when we went in and we took a look at it, we had the silverware when his father was a part of our life.
Oh,
And yeah, his father was not a happy person. And it was an abusive kind of relationship. So it's so interesting that that we end up taking on the frequency of the things that are around us. And I know
absolutely.
that to be true, Sharon, with the work that I do. It's sort of like, do you remember the saying, like, if I could be a fly on the wall,
Hmm.
I'd love to know what was going on in that room? Well, in this case, that's exactly what happened. So all of our walls and furniture take on the frequency that's around it. So in our case, it was the angry, unhappy frequency. With older people, they have the sick, dying frequency that's within their walls and whatnot. So everything, every molecule is consciousness, and so they can communicate with us. So in getting back to the spoons, yeah, oh, she's bending a little bit. She's getting a little bit warm. Um, she's getting a little bit malleable.
She's warming
Um,
up.
yeah, she's warming up. She knows what's going to happen. Um, we're going to do this live. Yeah, so I find the spoon that will bend for me first. And then I start clearing any points of view I have about bending the spoon. So everywhere I was taught that I couldn't do it, any lifetime I had where I did something like this and I was killed for it, like I was the witch and I was burned at the stake, any of those kind of things, I eliminate all of that. I send gratitude to the object that I'm working with. Gratitude in the emotional scale is the highest frequency, gratefulness, just below God's consciousness. And so, interestingly, I thank the spoon for bending for me. So I'm already connecting with the spoon in working with the molecules. Yeah, she's
That's
going.
fascinating. Fascinating. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So she just bent. Um,
Yeah.
so there's a period of time
Yeah.
where molecules are like ready to go. And then like now it's hard again. Like it's not
Hmm.
malleable. Oop. So it's not like I can't just bend it back. Do you know what I mean? Like,
That is super fantastic, Susan. That's amazing. You did it live, right? During our interview. That is so fantastic. How long have you been spoon bending, Susan?
yeah. So I've known about it for quite a long time, but I've just started doing it with LightNet. So I would say 2 years. Um, in fact, we were doing one and we, we we were bending them and I had like a whole table full of bent spoons and forks. And my son came over and I was making dinner in the other room. And he went ahead and he just sat down and he straightened them all out. It's like all of my all of my silverware that was bent, like all became straight. And he says, "Oh, mom, hey, I straightened all your spoons and forks for you." And I was like, "Thanks, Nick."
Well, it's so interesting that he realized, how old was Nick when he realized that the spoon was an unhappy spoon or had emotion or took on the emotion of those around it? How old was he when he made that observation or that realization?
Yeah, he was in elementary school. And yeah, so his dad left the house before he was 2. So he was maybe 6 or 7. I believe it was first grade. And
That's an
and
incredible realization for someone that age. For anyone, actually, never mind someone that age, but incredibly intuitive for sure.
yeah, and it really became a powerhouse for us to when we were making our beds, like when he learned how to make his own bed for the first time, Sharon, he was like, like we grew up, my mom's Italian and she was the only daughter. So she was the bed maker. So she would make all the beds. That was her job. And so she had a perfect way of making the bed. And it she called it matchy matchy, and the bottom sheet and the top sheet had to match. Um,
Mhm.
and otherwise it was like not made correctly. So when he said, he goes, Mom, do I have to like do the matchy matchy thing? I was like, no, like make the bed however you would like to make the bed. He's like, okay. So I see him in the linen closet, and he's pulling out, all these different sheets and patterns and whatnot. And he makes the bed and he calls me in for my approval. And I was like, okay, so tell me what you did. So he said that he put down the ocean. It was like shells on the bottom, and with that, he loved to lay in the water and float in the ocean, and that was very comforting to him to sleep. So that's how he wanted to sleep. And then he had this tiger print over him, which was completely different than the ocean. I was like, so tell me about this top sheet. And he said, well, that's the tiger sheet because I'm protected. The tiger, like they stay up at nighttime and he's going to be observing, and the tiger will take care of me. And I was like, and what is that with the flower pillowcase? And he's a boy, he's a
Yeah.
full on boy. And so he said, well, I know that my thoughts create things. And so I love to sleep with my head, my brain, my mind in the garden, which is growing and
Oh,
fertilizing. Yeah.
that's
And
wonderful.
so he just felt like he just slept so easily with that. So let's see if she'll straighten back out for us. Would that
Okay.
be okay?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great. Let's see if
She's,
so obviously your son has some capabilities because he straightened all your silverware out that was bent. So
yeah.
he clearly has
And
some capabilities for sure that he can some telekinesis capabilities.
yeah, he just walked in and like went like it wasn't even the needing to get rid of points of view, needing to connect with it. He's texting me right now. Oh, there she goes.
There you go, back to normal. Wow, that's pretty incredible. Thank you for the demonstration, Susan. That's wonderful.
You're
And
so
so
welcome.
would you say that spoon bending was a life-changing experience that opened you up to a whole new world of possibilities? And did it make you question the reality, nature of the world as you saw it, as you perceive it?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. 100% it did. Yes. Being able to bend a spoon like that, just by asking it to bend for you, creates a whole other world. And I know the Matrix movie, Neo in the Matrix,
Mhm.
the little boy says to him, you know, you are not bending the spoon, you are the spoon. Something like that. And so, yeah, so you become one with the molecules. So you're collaborating, commanding, and commanding is co-creating, commingling, collaborating with the molecules of consciousness. Yeah. So it's like, if this is
Fascinating.
possible, what else is possible now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Susan, for being with us today. That was really a deep dive into spoon bending and how the universe works a little bit there. And I really appreciate you taking the time. And if any of you know anyone who can bend spoons or would like to know more about that, please reach out to team@lightnet.org and be a part of the mission to share the most valuable knowledge on the planet. Again, Susan, I thank you very much and I wish you a wonderful day.
Thank you. Woo, woo.